y'all? It's your boy Edgar here. Yeah, Joker's not great. So, I don't like admitting this because Joker was my most anticipated movie of the year, hands down, and in all honesty, I looked past the red flags. Todd Phillips being the one directing this, co-writing this. The fact that in some interviews they talk about, we would just kind of shoot scenes, but then we'd be like, let's try something different, and basically just improvise on the day of on their shoots and shit. Like, normally that wouldn't be a problem, but what that creates is unorganization, chaos, lack of focus, which is this movie's primary problem. So, I just thought, I saw yesterday at the Music Box in 70 millimeter, trying to get the true cinema experience for this thing I've been looking forward to for so long. And I've had a lot of time to think about it, and I think I'm ready to talk about it because I've also been looking at a lot of other people's opinions on the matter, which have slightly altered how I feel. Not too much, but it's at least given me a bit more appreciation, but then a lot have also reaffirmed or like confirmed my opinions, so it's like I'm not the only one that feels this. I guess I may as well start it off. I give this 3 stars out of 5, 6 out of 10 if you will. It's definitely above average, but at the same time, I think it technically, like, I'm going to get into this, but basically technical aspects, cinematography, score, are all so good, but the script elevates it, or, not what, the opposite of elevate, oh shit, I'm drunk, brings it down so hard that it evens out to 6. Just a bit more than a 5. But this movie, oh boy, I'm gonna have to grab that shit again. So, where do we even begin? So, I think I want to talk about the positives first. I'd say that the cinematography is just so fucking good. Every single shot seemed to have had a purpose. The way the camera would move. I especially loved, I don't know why in particular, the tracking shots are so good. Like, we see in the trailer when Joker's coming out of their, like, clown job locker room, prep room, whatever you want to call it, where the camera's just pulling back and going around the corners. Joaquin Phoenix is coming out of the room and he's just laughing. He's like, ha 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 ha, and he just stops. Like, those type of tracking shots that just don't last long, they look really fucking good. And there's one in particular that stood out to me when he's about to go up to the comedy. Oh, by the way, I'll put this in the beginning, but as a note to myself, this is definitely spoiler talk. Full spoiler talk. I'm going to say it now and put a clear warning in the beginning. Anyway, so in the scene where Joker's like walking up the stairs about to do his first open mic show, I love the way that it's like normally lit, and then as it's following him, it pans into just absolute darkness of the stairwell, and it's only like a red light, I believe. May have been blue, but either way, blue and red are quite different, but to me, aesthetic wise in cinema, they're pretty synonymous. Usually red and blue are the contrasting colors. Either way, it just makes for really striking visuals when you have that kind of lighting. But so yeah, cinematography just absolutely fantastic. Everything had a purpose. The score. Now, unfortunately, I have this feeling that the score might be too good for this movie. Like, I'm not sure it belongs there. And it's the best way to describe is if you guys ever seen Under the Skin and the score Mika Levy, I believe their name is Mika Levy. The score for that is absolutely brilliant. And to me, this sounds like what would happen if you took that foundation that the Under the Skin score left and just add like lots of violins and nice oomph orchestral sounds, you know? And that's a really good compliment. I love the score for Under the Skin, and this is now up there in the leagues of that fucking score because Jesus Christ is fucking amazing music. Joaquin Phoenix. Now, this is where normally people put their praise. Now, I'm just kind of... This whole video is just basically tangents. When are my videos? The thing that seems like people are talking about is Joaquin Phoenix's performance. And it's good, don't get me wrong, but it seems like the... I don't know how to word this without coming off as like a fucking idiot, but it seems like the people that are really like wowed by his performance haven't really seen a lot of movies before. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, for me, I'm probably one of the biggest Joaquin Phoenix fans out there. Like, my holy trinity of acting is Joaquin Phoenix. So let's say Ethan Hawke is my absolute favorite. Ethan Hawke's the father, Joaquin Phoenix is the son, and Ryan Gosling is the Holy Spirit. Daniel Day-Lewis would be in there somewhere, but he's retired, so we gotta fix the rankings, you know. But for me, Joker is probably his maybe at most second best performance. I think The Master was his absolute finest work. I think it's the most bold and daring performance I've ever seen from him, and I thought Joker would be the one to outdo, and it's fantastic. Like, the way he laughs uncontrollably, and then you can just hear in his throat that physical, like, discomfort it provides him is just... The nuances of his performance are so good, and the way he sometimes has lack of facial expressions works, but then sometimes it's a problem for me. Like, when he's getting beat up, he doesn't seem very reactive to it. I feel like he'd be more hyper reactive, if that makes sense. Like, I thought he'd like scream a lot more. He just seems like that kind of person. I don't know. I feel like his only emotions are to laugh, smile, and be like kind of sad at most. As the opening, he's crying. I think that's the only time we ever see a tear from him. But anyways, overall performance is fantastic. And I think that might be it for my positives. Those are like the three given. I think everything else is a fucking disaster. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, I guess the script. The script is probably the thing that brings us down to where it is. Because like I said earlier, everything is just so well done, technically. But the story, the dialogue, everything just... it's fucking shit, man. Like, the way characters talk is so on the nose. And at points, it just feels like Todd Phillips talking to us. And it doesn't feel earned. Because there's a few movies where... it seems like it's not even the characters talking, where it's just the writer, director speaking. But in this one, it just felt like he had no grasp of the characters in a way. I feel like, if anything, Joaquin Phoenix was the only one who understood Joker, not exactly Todd Phillips. And with the things that came out about, like, well, Joaquin Phoenix would walk off set when he wasn't feeling a take, you know, and shit like that. Like, I fucking understand him now, like... if I was stuck on that fucking set with Todd Phillips' hack fraud, I wouldn't know what to do. I'd fucking walk out. I was surprised that motherfucker even came back. Cheers. I'll fucking drink to that. But, yeah, the script is a huge problem. Story, half of it fucking revolves around Joker's mom, of all things. And Upon looking at people's interpretations and just analysis of this movie, it seems like at least there's reason for it. It's to show that, you know, he thought he was Arthur Fleck, but then he might be Arthur Wayne, but then turns out he's adopted, and so truthfully, he's nothing, so all he has is Joker. Like, I get that, but to make half the movie about just trying to figure out, yo, what the fuck is up with my mom? Like, it's so lame. I don't know what it is with DC and mommy issues. Like, you got why'd you say Martha? Why did you say that name? And now you got Thomas Wayne is daddy. And he's like, LOL psych. He's like, oh shit, you right though. And then puts on clown paint and fucking ignites a revolution, I guess. And speaking of that, another thing about the story is everything is just so fucking convenient. And the best way people are able to ignore this criticism that I haven't seen anyone bring up is that, it's open to interpretation if what happened in the movie even happened. Like, fuck off. I'm of the camp that everything that happened in the movie did happen, but in order to protect his sorry ass lack of being able to tell a good story, Todd Phillips has left it open to interpretation. We're like, oh, whatever you didn't like, that didn't happen. That was all in his head. That's why it happened like that. Yeah, like when. Oh my god. When I saw the Waynes run into the alley and a guy with a gun look at them run by and he follows them into it, it's like, oh boy, that's not good news. And sure enough, they absolutely went for it, and it felt like a reshoot because the whole movie up to this point was shot beautifully, and to have this really shitty looking like bird's eye canted angle from fuck all position to see the shooting of the Batman's parents happen, it's like even hack fraud Zack Snyder of all people did that shit better, man. Like, whew, this whole movie's a fucking mess. And like I was saying earlier, the fact that like they'd say that, on set while we were shooting, we'd be like, oh, let's try different things, this isn't working. That just makes it feel like there's no consistent vision to this whole thing. It just feels like you're just being carried along for a wacky ride. There's just no rhyme or reason to most of it. Like, Joker gets the shit beaten out by kids in the opening. Fine, good opening. I'm not sure about the yellow text though. I would have preferred they kept with the white that all the marketing has been using, you know? And so in the beginning, when they show the title, it's just Joker all yellow over the shot, you know? It looks great, but I just wish it was white. But yeah, anyways, so he gets beat up by kids, and then later on, he gets beat up by Wall Street guys who he eventually shoots. And even that's like the most they do to try to get you to sympathize with Arthur. And his favorite TV show host makes fun of him on national TV. The lady, for some reason, who I guess is his therapist that he talks to, doesn't give a shit about him for some reason. But the thing is, there's so many things. It's hard to talk about this movie coherently because the movie itself is not coherent at all. Like, I could talk about it in chronological order, but I don't know. I don't want to do that. I fucking need another drink. And basically, so going into the therapist, so there's the part which people consider to be the turning point of the story, where she's like, yeah, there's budget cuts, we're gonna have to shut this facility down. And he's like, so where am I gonna get my medication from then? She's just like, I'm sorry. And it's like, she tells him, people like them don't give a shit about you, they don't give a shit about me either. And that would be a really good line had they given that therapist character redeemability, if you will. I can't think of a better term, because through Arthur's perspective, she's made to be out like a an antagonist to him. She's not on his side. She doesn't give a shit about him. But if you had made her, because she's a minority character, so I think it would have been really interesting if she had cared about him, like actually cared in this time where things are fucking crazy. It seems like super rats, trash everywhere. Another thing I like the set design, how in every exterior there's fucking huge piles of trash. Really helps build the world and show the shittiness of the situation Gotham's in. Anyways, just things like that. Like if you made the therapist more sympathetic and an ally in a way to Joker, then that line would have really hit, because then it'd show that the movie's saying, you know what? People with mental health issues have got it bad. Minorities have it bad. The poor have it bad. Like, it just fumbles the bag in every way. It never has a clear message. Like, if you were to ask me what Joker's about, the only way I could sum it up is Todd Phillips said, we live in a society, and made it into a movie. Like, it's such a nothing movie. It has nothing to say, really. It doesn't stick to its guns. It leaves its messaging subtle, but not even in the good way. It's just like, it doesn't seem interested in that. Even though, like, a lot of the movies about the poor rioting over the rich, it's just like, everyone's so cartoonish. So the bad guys are like easily just have a line or a scene or two where they show, I'm gonna be an asshole to Arthur, and then like 2 scenes later, oh, the world has taken revenge for Arthur, like I was saying earlier, everything is just fucking convenient. The cops are looking for Joker, the detectives, they fucking get their ass beat, rightfully so, by the subway people. Thomas Wayne gets murked in the fucking alley. Like, nothing feels satisfying about it. The Joker's way smarter than this. He, like, relishes in chaos, but you think he'd be more involved in everything. The only people he really gets revenge on are the people he kills, which is like 5 people. Which 5 out of 7 is pretty good, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. And from there, I guess I need another drink. Hold on. And from there, I guess we could talk about Zazie Beetz' character. I don't even know her fucking name. She absolutely served not a goddamn purpose in this movie, man. She's just basically a red herring, I'd say, because huge plot twist. She really wasn't Joker Bay. She wasn't Harley Quinn. Like, it was pretty obvious. And then when he's in her apartment, she freaks out and she calls him the guy from across the hall. That should be enough to tell you, hey, they weren't dating. But no, they go out of their way to show every single scene she was in where it's like, oh, she wasn't really there. As if the audience of Joker is fucking stupid. Like, Todd Phillips is fucking stupid. He probably needed that to understand his own script. That fucking hack fraud. And she really served no purpose, like, at all. It's so dumb. A lot of this movie felt aimless. And another thing I really want to talk about that I need a drink for first. Mazel tov. Is the song choice. So I'd say, the marketing in posters and trailers, because of that, I'd say that Joker's dance on the stairwell is supposed to be iconic, and it's really striking image because through the trailers, it's good storytelling to see visually. Oh, Arthur Fleck is weak. He walks with no confidence whatsoever. He doesn't carry himself. But when he's Joker, he's all bright, all posture upright, moving like it's nobody's business. And I'd say, based on the trailers, that stair dancing scene would have been the epitome of that thesis that visually we're going to tell you Joker has changed as a person. But the fucking song they use, are you kidding me? And the worst part is, I've been seeing memes, a lot of people like adding music over that scene of him dancing on the stair. And I feel like a lot of the people who've been sharing it don't actually know the actual song he dances to. And once they see it, they'll never in a million years guess what he dances to. And it's worse than you could possibly ever imagine. Like, I don't know the name of the song, but the only time you ever hear that song is like in kids' movies in the early 2000s when kids would be getting ready for like a big water balloon fight or just some big like event against another team in some summer kids movie, you know? It's like, Todd Phillips, man, I thought you were one of the guys that knew what music selection. The Hangover had excellent song choices, and those are really well directed movies for being comedies, you know. And to see him fumble the bag this hard in what I assume would have been the most crucial scene, fuck you, fuck this. Like, how do you co-wrote, you directed it, how do you fumble the bag so bad, man? And I just, fuck me. And I guess, sorry there's no coherent thought to anything I'm saying, but to people who've seen it, I hope it makes sense. And as I was saying earlier about the point of, Todd Phillips is using the whole, did this really happen? Did this not? As a crutch to justify his shitty decisions in this movie. The ending. So, when he's in the insane asylum and fuck. And she's like, what are you laughing at? And then it cuts to a shot of Bruce Wayne with his dead parents. He's like, oh, you wouldn't get it. That, to me, is what reinforces that everything that took place did happen. Because there can be no Joker without Batman. And if Batman's parents weren't killed, then that would mean that none of this happened. So that's my support in saying that, yes, everything that occurred in Joker did indeed happen. And when you look at it that way, everything's fucking shit. Like, how convenient. Everybody got, the people got revenge for you, for the detectives and Thomas Wayne. Your idol that fucking roasted you on live TV wants you on his show, giving you literally his life to you on a silver platter and saying, fucking take it. And fuck me, man. Like, it's so fucking stupid. I'm drunk as all dick right now, and I have no way to just properly articulate what a fucking letdown this movie is. It's barely just okay at best, and I wanted great things out of it, man. I believed in Todd Phillips for once. I'm like, I like what I've seen in the trailers. And that's the problem, man. Out of context, everything's fantastic. But when you contextualize like half the fucking things in that trailer, every trailer, and put into the movie, it's fucking horrible. Like, man. There are, okay, I guess I should go to positives. There are subtle things I really fucking like that whole scene of Joker just watching reruns of the talk show and imitating the guy's entrance through his shitty little curtain that he hangs up on the door. And then you're like, okay, I get this. This is just him trying to emulate and learn what it's like to be normal. He's wants to do his best to appear normal now that the world has his eyes on him for once and isn't ignoring him. Like, I like that shit. But then it gets even better when he pulls out his fucking revolver and just points and you're like, that is so fucking dark. Oh, I was like, it felt to watch, because I was in the dark side of YouTube the other day and I actually came across a video of Bjork's stalker, and for some reason within that, it was just like a video basically talking about everything that happened. And in that video, he shows an actual clip of the stalker shooting himself, like uncensored, and it's easily the most horrifying thing I've ever seen. And so, I don't know if it's because of that, but just really, the idea of like, this man is so unhinged, and this movie is such a sense of, this is supposed to be grounded in reality, that I was actually convinced that they had the balls for Joker to just blow his fucking brains out on live TV. I think that probably would have made for a way better movie. Because if you're not looking to continue Joker as a franchise or have this specific interpretation of him in any other DC product, like, I think it would have been really ballsy, really fucking good. Like, this guy never asked, he didn't want to be the clown prince of crime or whatever. He was just a mentally deranged man who wore the right makeup at the right time and inadvertently started a revolution. And so him shooting himself really would have been like a martyr move where he set shit off the way he did by shooting Robert De Niro. And Robert De Niro, man, he was only in this shit for like probably like around 7 minutes of screen time tops. And he did fine, but they really should have done way more with him. I need a drink. That's a decent wine. The more you drink of it and the more drunk you are, the better that shit tastes. You get past the bitterness. So, yeah, there's little moments like that. Another thing I really liked was, I loved the violence. Like, it was shocking every time because you didn't really expect it. Like, especially the first scene, like, where he kills people, the 3 people. The problem with that is it's shot in a way where he just gets shot and you're like, wait, what the fuck? And since you're watching a comic book movie, your first thought's like, wait, what the fuck? Does that mean they're introducing another character? Because usually that's how, other characters are introduced in movies. A hero needs help and then somebody shoots, he turns, and then it's a reverse shot. Oh, it's the person that saved him. So I really thought they were doing that. I just could not think of who. And then it shows that it was Joker, like, oh shit! And then it's just horrifying to see that one guy running and he's just pointing and walking slowly, determined to get his aim right and make sure he kills that fucker. It's like, god damn. And then in the scene where he kills the guy that gave him the gun, it's a will he, won't he matter, because you see the scissors in his hands. You're just like, is he gonna kill both of them? Is he gonna kill one? Is he not gonna kill any? And he just goes so fucking hard. That guy slams him on the wall, just won't stop. It's so good. And then when he shoots the talk show host once and then multiple times, bah, bah, shortly after, like, Jesus. And that also leads me to another huge problem I had, was its tonal inconsistency. This movie was it wanted to be grounded in reality and shit, and then, like, it wants to be super dark and gritty and, I'm Todd Phillips, please, man, take me seriously. May I have Oscar? And the fucker has its roots in comedy, you know, and that's just the way it's gonna be. You're inevitably gonna have elements of comedy, but to me, it went too far in this one because, for example, the part where he's being interrogated by the police outside the hospital, and then he's walking in, and then he just smacks on the sliding door. There's no need for that. It was not funny. It was pretty cringe. Like, what the fuck does this have to do with anything? Why is this here? And the only time comedy really worked was after he kills the bald clown, and then the little clown is trying to get out, but he can't reach the fucking lock. Like, that's funny as hell, because then that means, like, your mind starts wondering, like, holy shit, is he actually gonna not trap him? You just gave him the illusion of freedom for a sec? Like, that's fucked up. But no, he lets him go, which is also a nice touch, because he says, you're the only one who was ever nice to me. It's like, it shows Arthur's, like, real, like, his values. Like, he just has always been treated like shit his whole life, and he just wants people to be nice to him, it seems like, because he fucking murks everybody that disrespects him. I gotta respect that. Cheers, bro. I'll drink to that. And there's just a lot of instances in which comedy just absolutely fails. The only other one I could think of that works off the top of my head is when he's like, oh, I almost forgot to punch out. He just, doof, 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 ah, zaz, ah, punches the punch out box. Or whatever you fucking call it. Yeah. So, overall, though, I can't really think of any more specifics to get into. This is just incoherent, drunk ramblings on a cell phone. Overall, Joker is a competent at best movie. It's not problematic at all. I think it's very tame in terms of its messaging. Because the media is like, oh, this movie's gonna cause shootings. And, oh, they really wanted people to get fucking killed at this Joker movies just so they can feel like they were right. And so they can push their agendas and have more movies not exist, you know? Well, luckily, we prevailed. I guess maybe there were some shooters who went to the theater to watch and they're like, you know what? This guy doesn't hate women. He just hates people that are mean to him. Which I guess is the mentality of a lot of earlier school shooters, like from the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, they were of that idea, you know, like the song by My Chemical Romance, Teenager, like, oh, if you're troubled and hurt, what you got under your shirt will make them pay for the things that they did. Like, that was the mentality. So, like, this is a really outdated shooter mentality now, so it's just white people trying to ensure that the Aryan race prevails and shit like that. Like, it's a lot of targeted towards minorities and shit. And he's not racist. That's another thing. Like, Joker's, like, not a bad guy in the sense that a Republican is, but so it's just like, who is this for? Who's gonna listen to Joker's or Todd Phillips's speech through Joker's mouth during the talk show scene and be like, yes, I resonate with that. Like, it's just so surface level exploration of the issue. It's just like, society. We live in a society. The rich don't care about the poor. Like, okay, a lot of movies have said that, and better. Even worse movies have said that message better. And they say, what do people who disrespect me get? They get what they enjoy. Like, a fucking baby at maybe would even fucking consider taking Joker's words as religion. And so yeah, long point short to that, I guess, is like, this movie's not a problem at all. And then fucking shit, I need a drink. Ooh. Oh, that's hitting different. What the fuck? And if you enjoy this movie, good for you. You probably don't watch a lot of like uh, high art cinema. I'm sorry. What an asshole thing. I just can't think of a better way to put it. Like, Taxi Driver is not a mainstream movie the way you think it is. Like, a lot of people in my age range, if I just asked them if they've seen Taxi Driver, probably not. And so I'm just trying to think, like, how. That's the best way I can describe it. High art movies. Like, they don't really watch them, and this is, like, the way Todd Phillips put it is, like, trying to trick people into seeing it. Which is respectable by putting Joker as a. Because the thing is, this movie's so generic. If it wasn't Joker, nobody would be talking about it. But because it's Joker, like, oh, this is interesting character study, yes. But there's just no real substance to him because it's ripping off so many things that are high art. People haven't really been exposed to shit like this, so they think it's way better than it actually is. But for me, the movie Falling Down by Joel Schumacher, of all people, fucking ironically enough, speaking of just Batman universe shit, that movie does what this could have been trying to do, and I'd say way better, because you understand the frustrations of the main character, but you don't agree with what he's doing at all. He might be racist, but points were made. He wanted his fucking breakfast, you know? And by the end, absolutely no sympathy for him. You understand. He is the bad guy. And I feel like this movie should have gone the similar route and completely avoided the controversy. But no, this was like, nah, it's all in Joker's head. So, he sees himself as he started this. They're going to pull him out of the cop car when they crash into it. And, he's the savior, whatever. Like, yeah, seriously, watch Falling Down if you want a good Joker movie. This one's okay at best. But at the same time, because of the fact that it's like mainstream high art movie, then it gives me hope that if it does really well, then DC will try to do more, like have more auteur directors handle more supervillain movies, or even hell, maybe even superhero movies. I feel like what I'd really want is a Robert Eggers Swamp Thing movie. I don't know why that combination, but that's something I was thinking of that I really want if they do continue with this direction. And hell, I don't even think I'd mind a sequel to this movie, weirdly enough. It tries to be self-contained, but I think it's just so ass that it needs to flesh out the Joker part more, because it was mostly Arthur Fleck and Joker was way more interesting, in all honesty. So I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna shut the fuck up now because I'm just rambling at this point. This is basically a fucking podcast, a drunk cast, if you will. Yeah, I'm gonna try to heavily edit this bitch, maybe not. And thanks for watching if you made it to the end. If you agree with me, cool. If you don't agree with me, tell me how I'm wrong, even though I'm literally right. I'm studying film, and therefore I'm superior. I know shit. And I can tell you there's 3 different shots of Joker behind fenced material, either literal fence or the X's in the asylum. And it symbolizes to show that he feels trapped. Oh, he lives in a society, and the movie's fucking bullshit. That's what it is, man. It's tricking you into thinking it's more than it really is. It's nothing. Like, First Reformed is one of my absolute favorite movies of all time. That is a truly gets in your fucking because Paul Schrader wrote Taxi Rider, and he wrote and directed First Reform, so it's literally like Taxi Rider but with a priest, and it does what Joker tries to, but super successfully, and shows a realistic transformation of a person. I don't know. Go watch First Reform. Seriously, it's a great movie. Fuck you. Bye.